is the British Army's newest light tank, an Ajax fighting vehicle, and it's officially in service today. People won't like me calling it a tank, but it weighs 40 tons. It's as heavy as most Russian tanks. It has a 40mm cannon as its main gun, much bigger than the main armaments on tanks when they first entered service in World War I. And it's designed to provide the British Army with a covert recce strike capability. This Ajax program has been beset with problems. The platform was essentially a Spanish vehicle called an Ascod, and as it was bought and procured and ordered by the British Army, they added and bolted and changed different parts of it, which has made it heavier, more expensive, more complicated. And one of the consequences of that was that soldiers who were operating this system developed serious hearing problems. At least 17 of them at least have been treated for hearing-related problems, hearing loss, going deaf and hearing problems. Some more than 300 were screened for possible hearing problems. And that's to do with not just the volume of the noise and vibrations that are inside, but also the frequency at which those vibrations happen. That led to a pause in the Ministry of Defence not accepting new vehicles, and they had to make modifications, physical modifications to the inside of the vehicle to affect and to change the hearing defences, the ear defences that soldiers used. But today, the reason we're here is because the Ministry of Defence is officially declaring what it calls initial operating capability. Now that means they have got a squadron of these Ajax vehicles that are effectively battle ready. More than 165 have been delivered. The Household Cavalry Regiment is operating a squadron of 27, which means they have 27, they have the troops trained to use them at squadron level. But of course, as more troops are trained, as more vehicles are delivered, the scale at which they can train to use these vehicles will also grow. The target, as I mentioned, is 589. And full operating capability, they are hoping to declare that by 2029. Now, I referred at the beginning of this to as a light tank, and I said that would upset some people because people in the British Army particularly get really precious about the word tank because they think a tank can only mean a main battle tank, and that is a Challenger 2 for the British Army, or it's Challenger 3 replacement. And for them, a main battle tank is a vehicle designed to kill another tank, a tank designed to shoot another tank. But I have to say, I should remind them, tank was a code word first used in World War I to disguise the Army's intentions as it was developing the first armoured tracked vehicle with a gun that was used on the Western Front. Subsequently, the scale of these vehicles has ballooned. So the Mark I tank used in World War I weighed about 28 tons. This weighs 40 tons, has a much bigger engine, a much bigger gun. It is to all intents and purposes, by the standards of World War I, a tank. It is not a main battle tank. But also, main battle tanks are not always used to kill other tanks. That is a NATO doctrinal use of tanks. And in fact, if we look at how the Russians have employed them in Ukraine, and indeed how armies which use Soviet tanks employ them, they are far closer to infantry support vehicles. They use them to lead infantry up onto positions. So the debate will surely range, and I know that many people will feel very strongly that this isn't a tank. But I'm going to say, in plain English, this is a tank. You can call it a light tank if you like, but at 40 tons, with tracks, armour and a very big gun, it's a tank.
So I'm Major James Fair. I am the squadron leader in the Household Cavalry that has helped this programme take Ajax to initial operating capability. So we have in our combined arms squadron 27 vehicles. So that's the Household Cavalry reconnaissance vehicles with attached artillery, fire support team and attached engineers in their Argus. A family of vehicles called Combat Vehicle Reconnaissance Tracks, CVRT, colloquially known as Scimitar. They were designed and built in the 70s. They were pretty past it by the time they went out of service. They were small, they were light, they were fast, they were very under-armoured and they were very undergunned. It's better in every conceivable way. Yeah, it's more mobile, it's more lethal, it provides better protection for the crew. It allows us to do our reconnaissance job in a far better manner than what we could do with CVRT.
So what's the best thing about Ajax?
its sighting system, without any shadow of doubt. So it has the primary sight, which you can see on the top of the vehicle there, the rectangular box on the top of the vehicle. That is an independently controlled 360-degree sight with both optical and thermal capability that allows the commander or the gunner to find targets at a far greater range than anything we've ever had before. It is independent of the turret itself, which means that the vehicle has what we call a hunter-killer capability. The gunner can be engaging a target with the weapon system and his gun sight, while the commander is already hunting for the next target to pass on to him. And we're shooting on the move at targets on the move, and we can find them first. We can have in effect a lethal effect at greater range than we can. So we can find them first, we can hit them first. It's just a better vehicle. So you're right, drone warfare is something that every army is now grappling with. It's a very fast-paced development.
Final question. Is it a tank?
It's an armoured fighting vehicle.
Do you object to people calling it a tank?
Not at all. To 99% of the population, it looks like a tank. From a professional perspective, it's not a heavy tank, it's an armoured fighting vehicle whose job is to do reconnaissance.